Hi everyone, welcome again on our channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some of the uncomfortable truths that you're going to be probably facing in your twin flame journey. You will see it's not a linear process. Everyone's going through it slightly differently, but there are some disruptions will be happening as you enter the next stages, and there is nothing wrong with that. And hopefully by knowing it in advance, it's going to be a little bit easier not to judge what it's happening, but just embrace it and really looking forward to the next stages. So one of the main points is twin flame journey is really evolutionary process of your soul. So this is not a set experience that you're going to be defining in your consciousness once and for all. You will be experiencing the transformation of the expression, how the twin flame experience is really coming into your reality, the more you progress in your evolution. Meaning that the more mental capacity you have or flexibility into understanding those multidimensional concepts, the easier it's gonna be for you to expand your awareness into grasping the bigger picture. So maybe you already know from the previous videos how we are talking that it's very complex, multidimensional process in which it's really more than current belief systems are telling you, right? Like it's way more than only two people coming together and sticking together forever. It's really expanding outside of this 3D reality. And you can be sure that if you are working on getting outside of the belief systems, on questioning of those belief systems, you're gonna be peeling the layers and layers of the conditioning that are surrounding your current understanding of the journey. So you may be finding it a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning, but then your soul will be showing you the direction of the growth, and you're gonna be beginning to question why current knowledge or understanding is not really resonating with you. You feel like there is a little bit more to the picture, and you'll start wondering like why you don't really agree fully with what is being repeated over and over. So your soul will be longing to know the truth of the whole experience. And the more you sit in that and the more you allow yourself to understand the process, the more puzzles will be revealed to you, as long as you're ready. Because you see, one of the main challenges we have in this journey is like our mental limits are pretty strong. So there is a lot of beliefs that we already carry within ourselves. A lot of those beliefs we are kind of acquiring once we get ignited in the journey and we start researching things. And you need to remember that we all come from slightly different camps and slightly different belief systems and levels that we are. So it's not always the best thing to look on other people, because you don't know what level of evolution they are and what kind of level they are presenting the information from. So at any point of the journey, it's very good to question the things. And if something doesn't resonate with you fully, maybe it's a good thing. You should go even higher, even beyond. Try to see, oh, maybe they don't see the full thing. Maybe there's something that I didn't still get properly. So it's gonna be allowing you to see outside of this currently presented box, and you're gonna be finding excitement in understanding how this journey really works, or if there is even end to it. Because again, as I mentioned, it's the more capacity you have to grasp those multidimensional processes and simultaneous incarnations and all of that, like it's happening at the same time if you are allowing this higher understanding to come. And one of the keys here is really not judge the information that it's coming to you, and don't be afraid to drop something that it's not currently the most comfortable. We as humans, sometimes we are attached to labels, to maybe sense of belonging into some certain groups. And in a twin flame community, you're gonna be facing exactly that. Probably at some point, you're gonna be feeling that you're not really resonating with the majority of the community. That in reality, as you work on your internal peace, you will realize that there is a lot of clutter in those communities, that you're really craving for something deeper, which is understanding the dynamic, understanding yourself, understanding how the twin flame experience influences you and helps you to know even more about the world, right? Like why it happened to you, what did it bring to you, and how you can actually use it even further in the next steps. So many times I remind everyone that separation is just this temporary stage that you're meant to overcome, and you're meant to look forward to the next phases. It's gonna be unfolding in so many different ways. And probably you had that experience talking to different twin flames, that we all seem to have a slightly different blueprint. So some people will be arguing, right? Like if there is one set of twin flames, if we have only one counterpart, are there more than them? Some people are saying that in their experience, there are more twin flame-like experiences. Some people will be standing their ground and saying, no, there's only one and only. So you see, you will be beginning to cherry pick what actually matches your experience. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that there is one ultimate truth about the journey, right? Like we're gonna be training our minds to be able to accept many, many truths as we are. We are all constructing our own understanding and truths about the first the experience, and then the whole universal principles that are orchestrating the whole experience, right? So don't be afraid if you will start noticing that your twin flame friend circle is beginning to shrink, that you feel like you need to step out of the community a little bit because you feel like it's too small for you. It's okay. There's always lots of people who came from this twin flame camp. Maybe they don't even want to call themselves that, but I think we all deeply feel like you remember where you came from, right? So you adapt to the next levels of your expression, and probably you will still feel very empathic towards the people who are at some point, maybe they were really in pain and they wanted to find solutions, and you're gonna be probably wanting to help them. But again, at that point of the journey, you're not gonna be needing to put yourself into any sort of a labels. You will call yourself probably spiritual being who is ready to accept different truths. And from this deep level, you're gonna be wanting to help people without judgments. Talking about the labels, you may see that you're gonna be shedding off this need to call anyone your divine counterpart, your divine feminine, your divine masculine. You will start noticing that we are all in this experience together, and your soul is bringing to you the necessary people who are needed in your evolution to bring you to the next step. At some point, it may be even feeling uncomfortable to call someone yours, your counterpart. You'll start realizing that in the end, it doesn't really matter that much. You don't want to be putting any conditions on your experience. And there's going to be this level of humility towards the things that you don't fully understand. And in place of this initial beliefs that we may know exactly, how our journey will be evolving, and who is your counterpart, and who is supposed to join you, who is supposed to maybe drop off from the journey, you're gonna be interested in being an observer of the journey. At some point, you may even give up on the idea of, discovering more. You're gonna be just focusing on you, and it's not gonna be really necessary to call anyone anything, including you, including any of the soul connections you had. And you're gonna be perfectly happy with this non-labeling. In a way, it's gonna be a little bit freeing that we are giving each other this spaciousness and this freedom of will, freedom of choice, and also giving us the chance to expand beyond again, right? Like, let's see what this experience is really about. And at the same time, you're gonna be probably looking a little bit beyond, a little bit up to the, this universal principles and understanding. you're gonna be surrendering to the process more, and this curiosity will be taking over. So you see, you're gonna be probably more at peace where you are, where you're going, and there's gonna be the nudge. What do we want to focus on right now? And many of us in this phase gonna be attracted toward different circumstances that will be helping you to grow even more. So those can be some very interesting changes in your life. Again, usually when we go through those major transitions, we need some sudden shifts. So it starts with the closest environment, but it very often includes other connections, right? So if you are acting from this space of openness and curiosity, remember, you're not gonna be that much attached into any of the labels. You're gonna be putting more priority into your own evolution. So this curiosity will be helping you to, again, question our belief systems and let's see beyond. And especially I'm talking here about those new connections because this is such a difficult, you can call it a test to overcome, because you will be having in the same spot to choose between your own spiritual evolution, because you may see that your current connection is really stagnant and your soul is not truly happy where you are. You will be feeling stuck in this awaiting period. At the same time, evolution never stops, right? So if you keep working on yourself, sooner or later, there's gonna be someone emerging in your field to get you to the next stage. There are cases that people will not have to have a next counterpart, but I do believe, since Twin Flame is about this changing our emotional expressions of the relationships, it's very difficult to train yourself in that without a counterpart. So again, maybe just to give everyone a heads up, not to freak out, that if you're a twin flame and there's a new connection and what am I supposed to do, I'm just better sit and wait for my divine counterpart because I know who it is. And that gets back to the previous point, as I said, it's in your best interest to work on this humility and this readiness for things to be unfolded, because there are so many scenarios that are very unexpected in this journey. And one of them is, who is really the physical expression of your twin flame here on the 3D. The fact that you're getting those intuitive nudges, and even it can go as deep as you have this knowing that you put in your mind that you think you know just because you know, even that can be sometimes wrong. And I know people don't want to hear this because we are very protective of what we believe, and it's very hurtful to be wrong about the journey. But at the same time, try to give yourself the chance to, even from time to time, not to listen to the things that you think you know, and just tell to the universe, well, I think I'm ready for you to show me what it is. Like, I don't care that much about being right. I'm interested in discovering truth about the journey. It's gonna be flipping the narrative. And of course, it takes a little bit of this courage, because the courage is needed to face your fears. You may realize and discover yourself what are your true fears about the journey. I don't want to spoil, but they may be related to some sort of rejection, or maybe some sort of bursting your bubble that you had regarding how your twin flame journey will be unfolding. Because remember, we are very often still operating from this idea of perfect bubble love phase that we experience initially during an ignition state. And this is a very strong carrot, in a way, that the universe presented to us, that in a way was supposed to make us interested in doing an inner work. Probably originally we do that for people, but some way down the road we realize, oh, maybe this journey is really not about the other person. Maybe it's given to me to have this beautiful gift of experiencing myself here and just understanding myself better. So maybe on this note of openness towards experimenting more with other connections, you may be also realizing this another uncomfortable truth, which is that you're not really desiring to be with your twin flame, that you're much rather stay in your presence and see your life moving forward rather than allowing anything and anyone be in this stagnant phase. You will start realizing how precious is your time here and how often we are really wasting time here. Like, you will realize that at some point you don't want to look through the lenses of the wasted time. And hopefully at some point you're gonna be understanding that really there is not amount of evolution that can stand in the process of getting to the right person in the right place you need to go. So I think for me personally, the hardest realization I had in this journey was imagining myself in 15 years or 20 years and seeing that my journey didn't take me anywhere. And I just spent it waiting, kind of surrendered to these current belief systems that we only have one twin flame, and we as a, let's call it divine feminines, because that's how I felt back then, we are meant to surrender and wait for the other counterpart to kind of get back to our life. And I just decided to go against that and started to question all of that and decided to focus more on my spiritual journey, because I felt at some point more connected to the universe than to the person that originated me or ignited me in the journey. So that was a result of inner work. That was a result of emotional detachment. And that was this, I do believe we all have that, but sometimes buried a little bit deeper, this curiosity for the journey and uncovering the truth. There are big chances that if you are in this journey and you resonate with what I'm saying to you, that means that you're from this camp of people who are really striving to understand spiritual principles behind that. And I'm really hoping to see more people awakening to that. And especially, knowing that so much focus is put on this emotional part and sexual part and kundalini and all, people getting a little bit lost, and it's not enough said about this true stages of the journey, of this alchemical process and everything. It seems to be a little bit lost, and I'm hoping that with this sudden changes that are happening in spiritual communities, there will be more and more this kind of high quality information. So with this openness to enter the new relationships, you may be seeing that you're gonna be very tapped into your own needs, growing outside of these belief systems that your twin flame is your best counterpart and your perfect match, and you're not able to build a relationship with anyone else. From that moment, you're gonna be more focused on defining your core values, defining what you need from the partnership, realizing that spirituality is such a core part of our relationships that you may not want to compromise. So again, in my case, I do believe we all have choices here, but that was my conscious choice to look for a partner that I'm gonna be resonating 100% with. And yes, there are different values that people put on people. To me, that was like number one thing that I put in my head. Besides of a respect towards each other, it's really to find someone who gets me. I don't want to translate what I want to say. I don't want to hide anything, and I want to feel full freedom in expressing how I understand spirituality and our being here. And I do believe that the more you speak it out and put it outside, and just making it conscious in front of you, it's gonna be easier for the universe to actually deliver the person that you are meant to continue your work. And again, it can be your original twin flame, but I think if you are so far in the video that you're listening to that part, you already know that it's not that much about the person. All you care or maybe want for you is to end up with someone who respects you, who has this clarity of expression and doesn't make you question your growth and your worth. So there's good things to that, right? Like we are just building more kind of psychological principles of, or how you want to really decide who's continuing the journey with you, especially if the current counterpart is out of reach. Instead of passiveness, you're gonna be choosing the curiosity and opening, maybe just experimenting first on your own, just exploring more places, going to travel and all of that, just giving yourself the chance to get to know yourself better. And the best connections always come when they are not expecting them, because they come from the place of fullness. That's how you attract them. So if you find yourself in separation phase, really embrace it and learn to be on your own, not out of necessity, but out of interest and out of self-care and self-love. And finally, I think one of the most challenging parts is you're gonna be entering this phase of confusion, because this twin flame community as it is right now will be such a heavy place to be, because it's, you see, if you're already outgrown some concepts, it's very difficult to resonate with them. You feel like you just want to run away, and one part of you maybe doesn't want to, because you feel like this is your only place where you can get some sort of information or guidance on the journey. And it's gonna be this uncomfortable state that you don't know if you do something wrong because you don't resonate with that anymore. So this big confusion at the same time when you seem to be doing everything fine and doing all the steps that we talk about, inner work and all of that, and doing those extra steps and detaching from your twin flame and working and doing all the things that are necessary to bring you the union that everyone speaks about. And at the same time, you see that your counterpart is not even talking to you. They are building life with someone else. They blocked you, and it's not going anywhere. And again, there are different camps. Some people will tell you that we are meant to surrender and trust fully the process. And you're very lucky if you are still progressing on your journey and do exactly that. You're allowing the things to unfold, but you are working and looking at you at the first place. There are unfortunately people who are stuck in the ideas that are keeping themselves safe, that they are willing to compromise their own spiritual evolution, and they are getting paralyzed because their counterpart, or maybe person who they consider to be a counterpart, they are not taking the steps, the union, right, to bring this connection here on 3D. So again, I'm not never judging anyone's choices. I just ask everyone to evaluate your consequences of your actions and think about that. It's not about rushing towards anything here, but just this gratefulness for the time given us here and making the best use of it. And it's sometimes it's tricky to evolve and at the same time take a responsibility for your life and your evolution into someone else's hands, because that's, in reality, that's what's happening. If you put your life on hold and live in the illusions and you're projecting whatever comes to your mind, you think that comes from another person when the person really doesn't want to even talk to you. This is very difficult space, I believe, and tricky space, because again, people don't want to hear this, but you don't really know for sure. If your mind is playing tricks, if that's telepathy, if that's a message from your counterpart, in my view, everything that you think is a telepathy, if it is a telepathy, universe will want you to know about that, because this is the highest proof of how those connections work on Earth here. Why would the universe block you from this knowledge? Anything else than that, you're falling into risk that you're just working in the space of illusionment. And just single piece of advice is like, if you have a choice to believe something or not to believe something, I advise to wait for when things begin to manifest in 3D. This is your only anchor you have in this reality, especially when we are dealing with this multidimensional expressions here and we don't really know what belongs to which person, which field, who we are interacting with, and eventually who is your true counterpart. That is really, this is revealed way later than you think. And probably this is just encouragement for everyone to be open. If you've had this belief system till this moment, it's okay. But give yourself a chance to morph into something different, stay open, and see if you can make your life a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more evolving. So especially in speaking here, for the people if you that feel stagnant, almost like they are hitting the wall, and the only single thing that would change in their journey would be if their twin flame texted them back or said, I want to meet you, I need to talk to you. If you're in the state that that is the only way to move your journey with that person forward, I would really suggest you to bring your power back and think about different ways how you can take yourself from the state, how you can evolve. And again, you're not leaving anything behind. You're not going against any higher spiritual order here. The only spiritual order here is just evolution, and how much you can work on stripping away those belief systems, those breaking away from everything that we really created here with our minds. So I think always the cherry on the top is to getting a little bit of glimpse of how this reality really works. And the more you're happy to discover them, and the maybe more ready you are to not to cling into your current belief systems, the faster you're gonna be jumping in front of them, because you're not gonna be attached really into what you currently believe. You just feel like, okay, this feels more authentic at this moment and it serves my evolution better. You're gonna be jumping way faster into the next steps. As usual, I hope it helps you to grow a little bit more within your journey and question all of those set beliefs that we have here. If you like this video, you can comment. If you didn't like this video, you can also comment. Give me some suggestions for the topic. I really like to share this knowledge from a little bit higher and a newer perspective, and I think it's always refreshing to see also other people doing that. So wishing you all the best in the journey, and stay tuned for more videos from us. Take a good care. Bye bye.